Good morning, everyone. I am Bhavana from ISDE Academy India Private Limited. It's give me enormous pleasure to welcome you all here on behalf of ISDE Academy India Private Limited and PS Quality Certification Private Limited. ISD Academy focusing on providing quality education, thereby developing skills and enhancing empowerment to professionals by narrowing the gap in expectations between industries and educational institutions globally. Now, ISDE is an established professional research and development institution well supported by highly qualified, devoted, and experienced professionals focusing towards quality. In today's era of artificial intelligence and machine learning, we are adopting the following technologies in our training. We offer a wide spectrum of institutional oriented training program from student orientation training, student placement training, NAC awareness sessions, value added courses in health sciences, engineering and arts and science, IQAC training, and faculty development programs in various domains. Mission. The mission of ISG Academy is to serve the people of South Asia in creating, communicating, preserving, and applying knowledge, art, and academic values, and in developing leaders and citizens who will challenge the present and enrich the future of our country. Vision. Vision of ISG Academy to be the most globally recognized technical academy in South Asia. We strive to produce highly employable graduates through our dedicated staffs who shall set global standards, making our students technically superior. Our aim is to provide top quality training to our staff, teaching skills that can be transferred realistically to the workplace. For today's webinar on research methodology, Dr. K. Revadi. We are honored to welcome our today's speaker of webinar. Dr. K. Revadi is an accomplished scientist and educator with extensive expertise in biotechnology, biochemistry, environmental biology, toxicology, molecular biology, and microbiology. With over 68 PhD scholars guided, 8 patents, 21 GenBank deposits, and several national and international research collaborations, Dr. K. Revadi has made significant contributions to science and higher education. Honored with prestigious awards such as Outstanding Science Award 2024, Lifetime Achievements Award, and the Tamil Nadu Young Scientist Award 1995, a recognized leader in academic and research excellence, a key figure in academic leadership, has coordinated major funded projects, chaired numerous national or international conferences, and served on various academic, scientific, and governmental advisory boards. Passionate about mentoring, innovation, and sustainability. Ma'am, you can take over the session. Please.
Good morning to one and all present here. Slide share. Today I am going to speak the most relevant topic for research, how to choose a research topic. As the students always find it difficult to choose the topic, with the mentor should decide it. What is research? First, you must understand research is nothing but a scientific understanding by logical and systematized techniques. The aim is to discover new facts, or sometimes you can verify and test the old facts. Whatever may be, you have to analyze that in sequence, interrelationship, as well as casual explanations. Our ultimate purpose should be we have to fill in the gap information and we have to find the questions so far unexplained. That is only research. What stimulates people to undertake research is a genuine interest which will add to the body of knowledge as well as to the understanding to create or develop new better tool methods, programs, equipments, etc. Sometimes some people take research as a means of earning their livelihood or to secure or to get a better career or position or for an academic degree or for self gratification. But research serves two major purposes. First is it will generate new knowledge and technology. Second, the applied research is necessary to identify the priority problems, to design, to evaluate, and to program it. Applied research is just to solve a practical problem or to improve the diagnosis. The second, the basic research is we have to find the answer to the fundamental or to the theoretical questions. It will not be focused directly on practical application. Next, you must take laboratory or field research. If it is laboratory, who and what is present? You have to have a high degree of control over who and what is present, how the data should be collected. If it is field research, you must understand the real situation and less control will be there if it is a field research. You have to speculate on the pros and cons of each. So the research process goes on like this. First, you have to choose the topic. Then you must collect the relevant data to the topic what you have chosen, specify the objective, then design the study and prepare the proposal. This is the way the research has to go. So when you are selecting a topic, it has to be relevant and it should not be duplicated. It should be feasibility to undergo the work and it should be political acceptability. Applicability is also essential. Urgency of data is needed. And for all the research, ethical applicability or acceptability is essential. More factors make the project outstanding. First, you must ask questions to yourself. Second, if possible, the project should have the potential to eat the seminal observation. Like you have to evaluate whether your project has to be outstanding or excellent. If it has to be outstanding, question yourself and design the work according to it. Sources of research topic could be either of personal interest or information or observation or practical problems. Personal interest is your favorite subject and the topic you can choose. Information and observation will be any behavior that arouses your curiosity, and practical problems will be the problems that occurs in your ward or medical school or a job. For example, 6 patients had an adverse effect to a drug. Then there are sources of research topic like pop-ups, fleeting thoughts, like how he has found the scientist by following the apples, how he has carried the principle. Then by reading the journal, textbook, attending conferences, reading magazines, seeing various websites, then theories which will be having the opposing theories for the same behavior. The choosing good problem is very essential for being a good scientist. What is a good problem and how to choose one is more important. Anticipate, you should have a personal interest in the topic. And when you're choosing the topic, you have to see your expertise in that. Second, you should have the basic interest and you should know the outcome of it. For that purpose, you have to talk, read papers outside your interest, outside your area of interest. So when you pick up a research problem, You should anticipate. These are the results I must get before doing the first study. And your research should be unique. You have to think very carefully before choosing a controversial topic. You have to pick up a manageable topic. You have to read, listen, discuss, think critically. Always see to it that you focus on your research, which is of very important. Steps in zeroing in a problem, how to enter. Now you have identified a broad area that interested to you. Read the literature pertaining to the topic. First, choose 2 or 3 topics. Then you have to narrow down the topic. After choosing the topic, you have to collect the literature. From these 2 to 3 topics, you arrive at a single problem and you have to focus on the single problem. We have to compare the problems by imagining the 2 axes. First one is feasibility. This axis is a function of skills of the researchers of the technology that is in the lab. The truth, the observations, all this is very important. It has to be feasible for you if you undertake the research. The second axis is interest. The increase in knowledge expected from the project. Either you choose a easy subject or a hard subject. If you choose a hard topic, you have to gain some knowledge in it. Then as you keep reading, you will be able to gain larger knowledge or more knowledge, and that will be your best problem choice of your interest. To decide which problem to select along the front depends on how we weigh the 2 axes. Either it is easy or hard. First problem for beginning when a student starts performing the research. It could be a small gain in knowledge or larger gain in knowledge will always lead to long-term plan for the lab. And that will be very important for a good laboratory practice. For example, my student approached me to choose a topic. He said that he is going to work on the chitosan sodium benzoate composite and application of hydrocolloids in nutraceuticals. Then I asked the candidate, why you have chosen the chitosan? He said it is a natural polymer, cheap, non-toxic, broad antimicrobial spectrum, biocompatibility, anti-tumor, and antioxidant. Then sodium benzoate. It is a food preservative. I asked whether it is FDA approved. Yes, it is FDA approved. It is bacteriostatic and fungistatic under acidic condition. Then why are you adding the hydrocolloid? It is used in food formulation to improve the shelf life. Nutraceuticals. They are nothing but the biological active molecules found in the food that will provide health benefits beyond nutrition. These are the questions he has answered to me when I put. What is known as adding nutraceuticals to food provide consumers with a selection of healthier options that can help them meet some of their health and wellness goals. Primary concern will be nutraceutical products, preparation, stability, safety. What can be studied? Would these natural polymers significantly improve the stability and safety of the nutraceutical items? This is the way the topic has to be questioned and the topic has to be stabilized. And it is known well that this chitosan exhibited antimicrobial and antioxidant activity, and it is a promising option for nutraceuticals because of the high capacity to bind fat in the gastrointestinal tract. And what are the methods that could be used? It is physicochemical characteristic using FTIR, X-ray diffraction, differential scanning calorimetry, and thermographic analysis, antibacterial and antioxidant studies. Why do you use FTR and XRD? To study the structure of crystals. DSC and TGA weight loss. So these are the questions you have to throw to the candidate and the answer to be found. They have to bring the answer to it and then the research topic could be done. So replicating a research, justify the replication. Why you are repeating the research of others? When your research is just a little different from earlier studies, your whole literature review should focus only on that little difference. So you can always replicate a research, but you cannot show the importance of initial research and you cannot talk about that. Only thing what you have to speak about is the importance of your addition while replicating a research or a earlier work. And always see to it that you choose a familiar topic because it is too easy, too easy. And literature review will always be positive if you know a familiar topic. When you what is reviewing the literature? Why should you do? Because we do reviewing of literature. When you choose the topic, we don't want to duplicate the pre-existing research where the topic currently lies. And it will also help us to choose and construct a research design. First, you have to design the research what you have chosen. So each research study when you take, it is a part of an existing body of knowledge, and your study should be a extension of past research. First, find out the historical studies, the foundation of the research area. Then you can see various branches. You study the major branches and then you choose a new direction out of it. So your current research will lie at the top, reading all the other branches and then narrowing it and choosing a topic. So this is the way how the research grows from the older topic. So the purpose of your literature review, it will provide the elements needed for directing your own research study. That is, it will help the reader to predict the purpose of the research. Before you could say it out, it will always predict it. So this literature review could be from a textbook, or you can collect the list of keywords or subject words, find the key people or key authors who have earlier worked on it, talk to them, and then arrive at a conclusion to start your research. So use the correct database. There are various databases. You could either use PubMed or Embase or InMed. And you can also use advanced research. You can also use thesaurus or different keywords. It is nothing but like teeth grinding, you can use different keywords. And you may start with a journal article and then search for the references in an article. You can use an outline or a research map to keep going without any hindrance. So there are two types of research sources. One is a primary source, the other one is a secondary source. A primary source, as you know, primary means it is a first-hand report of observation or the research results written by the individual who actually conducted the research and made the observation. If I am the first person who has done in that study, you can take my work, read that, and you can conduct, that will be the primary source. The secondary source is nothing but the summary of another person's work. It could be written by someone who did not participate in the research or observations being discussed. This is the secondary source. And the difference between the primary and the secondary is primary sources, the report will be 10 to 15 pages in journal, and it could be easily summarized in 1 or 2 sentences in secondary sources. As I have already said earlier, secondary sources could be a textbook or meta-analysis. A textbook, for example, which will contain the summarizing of the research or citing several important studies in a few paragraphs, will be this textbook. Meta-analysis will provide a great overview of an area by combining the results from a number of studies what you have reviewed. First, the best way to start with secondary sources and then choose a few primary sources to get more details and then narrow it to a more specific research question. The easy way is to start with a primary article to easily come up with a tentative research question and then search the literature to come up with specific questions. Final words on literature search is: get a complete reference for each article. If it is a website, you have to get the URL or digital object identifier. You have to find suggestions for further research. You yourself can criticize, modify, or extend an existing research. You can always combine or contrast the existing results. Whatever work you have done, you see to it, accept the suggestions. You try to, people will criticize. You have to modify according to it and then see or combine everything what you have done. And then you have to look for the gaps or any contradiction that lies in it. For refining the topic has to be sized. So how to refine a topic? Because the decision-making process is very important. You should not commit any mistake when you have to, while choosing the research topic, because it is a long way to go in your research. Once you choose the topic and if you are halfway through it, you cannot choose another topic and start from the beginning. So when you are choosing itself, look for the references, the area of interest, what has to be done in it, how to take it up. The methodology is very important. Standardize the methods and then look for the results. If it is a positive result, it is fine. Even if it gives a negative result, according to that, you can always answer to it, saying that this could be the reason for the result. You don't manipulate any results. Whatever that comes, you have to seek the answer for it. Do the references as much as possible, which will help to go a long way in research. Choosing the research topic only is very important. You can take the guidance from the guide or the eminent people in that line and then sit and discuss. You can take nearly 6 months to go around collecting the literature, sitting in front, but you have to question yourself why you have chosen this topic. If I am choosing this topic, what could be, whether I'll be able to complete it in time. Time manageable is important. The method, standardizing the methods will take about 6 months. Standardize it and get the results. And then once it is done, it will be easier for you to choose the research topic. So refining the topic, now the topic has to be clarified. The topic needs to be reworded so that it states clearly and unambiguously the matter to be investigated, the variables to be investigated, and participants, if any, that will be involved. So when you choose a topic, I have already said it has to be very clear. You cannot say this, that, all that, and then keep doing it. Get a clear picture why you have chosen that, and then note down the points according to it, and then what has to be investigated, the number of variables that has to be investigated, and the participants, if any, that will be involved. For all these purposes, you have to spend a lot of time going to the library, or now across the table you can sit, download, read from the internet, gather the information, find out the earlier works, jot down everything, and then arrive at a conclusion. This is the way I have to proceed with my topic. And if there are any people involving in it, you must calculate the number, all that, meet the relevant people, then you get the ethical clearance and SRC or ethical clearance, whatever is essential for your topic, and then you can proceed with it. So the materials and procedures, what you use will depend upon a number of factors. First, what you want to accomplish. See, what you want to accomplish is what you wanted to get finally from the work what you have done. For that, you must know the cost and effect relationship or a relationship that holds in it. So when you are thorough with that, you can just keep going with it and always see to it that you choose a topic where the availability of sources are available. If not, the people who can help you in that relevant work, you will be uneasily approachable should be there so that your research work can be taken. What materials and procedures being done before and how effective was it? Do you have an access to similar materials? That is materials and methods. Do you have an access to similar materials? Then look for it. How expensive will it be? If your project or if your research work is funded, then it is much easier for you. If not, you have to look into it. How expensive is it? Is it worth of doing? Will it be useful to the society? How long I can carry it? Will I be able to complete it in a given or a stipulated time? The next important thing is you must know how can I control the research or the variables. That is more important. Then finally, when you are able to do all these three things and when you are able to accomplish your research, you can start going ahead. The research proposal, once it is ready, you have to present it in front of the committee for their approval. Before you conduct the research, presentation should be there where the experts will be sitting there. They will be giving their inputs. Their expertise is very important and you have to note down and you have to carry it, meet them whenever you have any doubts. You see to it that they are approachable. You go clarify and you can do your research. So the research proposal, once it is presented to the committee and if it is approved, then you can go for a funding agency for approval or funding. As I have already said, if it is your research work is funded means you will get the money for your work to be carried out, plus you will be getting your stipend. So when you are getting that, it will be easier for you to carry out your work without any hindrance. And any topic that you have chosen, materials and methods, standardization is important. What are the various things that are present in the lab that you could easily do the work? You should not go to any other place depending on I have to do this work. So you're running here and there will take a lot of time. So what are the instruments that is present in your lab? Design according to it. And if you have you can collaborate with other departments also if you have any specific work to be done. And you can seek the expertise person always to get the knowledge in doing the research, which is very important. So the research proposal just presented only will be your final topic. And after that, you can keep doing your research. So finally, the research process, briefly, I would like to tell. Look for your searchable key terms. Whatever you wanted to do, to look for the key terms. Then you have to refine in that, add something. Or if you feel this could be nice, so I may have added this. Why should I do? When you get an answer, that according to that you refine. Is it essential? Based on that, your refinement will be more accurate. Then you have to be specific. When you're choosing that, this is the importance of this work. It will be useful to the society. So I would like to be specific. So I have got the specific topic to do carry out my research. Above all, you have to see the lab where all the facilities that is required by you exist there. If not, you can approach your guide or a supervisor where he can collaborate with the nearby labs and you can go and work there and you can always discuss with people to refine your topic or your search. And then after refining, by always it is by talking, reading, referring only, you can refine your search work. After refining only, you can choose the specific topic. You should not feel shy in exhibiting all these things, because once your work is done, it has to be the best, because it is, you have to publish it in a known journal, which will take you to a greater distance. So after refining the research, after getting a specific topic, then don't stray too far. After that, you can always look into it and start working, which is very important. So when you choose a research topic, bear in mind what all you can do within the lab, whether you'll be able to handle the work, whether you'll be able to get the guidance for it, or the expertise are there, you can easily approachable. Talk, collect the literature, choose the keywords as much as possible. Now you can sit in that home across on the computer, you can download everything, read and justify, okay, I am doing this topic. Take it to your supervisor. He will throw questions to you. When the questions are thrown to you, you can become more intelligent and you can refine according to it, which will carry the research to a greater heights. So choose the research topic by learning, going to the lab, looking into the materials, see to it that you easily are able to handle all the instruments, or what will be the people around you, all that is also very important, who can help you. And standardizing of any experiments is very vital in doing your research. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Last line.
Thank you, ma'am, for excellent presentation. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, clarification.
We are proceeding with our next trainer, Dr. R. Lada. We are honored to welcome our today's speaker for the webinar. Dr. R. Lata, MSc PhD, is a professor and IQAC coordinator as SVMCH and RC, Puducherry. With nearly 30 years of teaching experience in medical psychology, she holds a PhD from CMC Vellore and has previously served as vice principal. A key contributor to her institution's NAC accreditation, she also serves as a NAC assessor. Her research areas include heart rate variability, yoga, and evoked potential, with 50 plus publications and multiple best papers award. She holds 3 copyrights and is currently researching millet-based diets in diabetes. An approved PhD supervisor at Pondicherry University, she has guided several ICMR CTS projects. Honors includes the Outstanding Scientist Award 2024 and Best Student Advisor Award. Ma'am, you can take over the session, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So can I share my screen? You have to enable me. I'm unable to share screen. Miss Sandhya, are you there?
Lata ma'am,
Yes.
is there any problem, ma'am?
I'm unable to share my screen now.
Okay.
The
We
whole
already
post
made a post.
is it is mentioned as host disabled participant screen sharing. Call control. இது post இது பாருங்க. ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேர் பண்ண முடியல. இதே வந்து இருக்காங்க. இருக்காம வந்துருமா? போட்டு பாருங்க. அதாவது நோட் பண்ணுங்க. Is my slide visible?
Yes, ma'am. You can start the ma'am.
Okay. To all of you, I invite you all for the today's webinar on research methodology. So my topic is the literature review, okay, or the literature search. So the objectives of this session or the literature search, what are the steps and strategies, sources of the literature review, and literature search using PubMed, and how to use the PubMed Advanced. So literature search, it is a systematic and well-organized research from the already published data to identify a breadth of good quality references on a specified topic. So literature search is usually a process that gathers the information on a topic from numerous information sources related to that topic. So once we get all this information, we have to document all of them, results and ideas and the changes that you make and what your reasons are for your process, steps and changes. And these steps look sequential, but however, this is a process. Normally, it is often an iterative process. That is, you may circle back or redo or modify the earlier steps. So it is about the scientific account of what has already been published in a specific topic, but it is not about the description or summary of all published information. So you should not summarize or describe all the published information here, but it should be the scientific account of what has already been published on a research topic. So the literature search, it must be organized around a specific research question on the topic. So the as Madam said, the various ideas about how to choose the relevant title of the research project. So once there is the title of the research project has been chosen, then we have to, take up certain keywords, and I will tell you how to use these keywords in many of the search engines and how to get the information which are already published on this particular topic, and synthesize the information into a summary of what is and what is not known about that particular title, and identify the areas of uncertainty and controversies and create the questions by yourself that need further research. So this is how you just collect all the information about the literature, what is existing already on the particular title, and you come to a conclusion that what are the research lacunas in this particular area. So definitely in this field, in this context, we need help, because a lot of literature are available. Okay, various modes are also there. So definitely we need help. So first, what are the general steps, okay, for the literature review? So first point is you have to state your research topic or the research question. Okay, so that is the first step, first attempt to get the process going. And next is to clarify what the review is for. So is it for the background of your study, or the pro and con discussion of your study, or you want to integrate, or for the summarizing? So you have to clearly, you have to be specific that this particular review is for which portion of your research proposal. So develop a starting search plan. So what strategies are you going to use to find the information? So do your search and choose the sources that seem to have the information on your topic, and choose, or normally you have to choose the exact information you want to use to discuss or to develop in your review. So when you collect these various data, you have to write the drafts of the paper that is about the review. So you have to work with the information what you have selected. Okay, so you have to completely thoroughly read about all the abstract. Supposing if you are able to get if it is a free full text article, you try to download these articles, and you have to thoroughly review all these articles, and you have to cite the sources used, because you'll be needing all these citations. Okay, so where exactly these references have to be cited in your paper, so that you have to be very, very clear. So the research database. So what is meant by a research database? So research database there are many databases available nowadays. So many used to identify the articles in the professional literature. They are usually discipline or subject specific. There is a file of bibliographic records are there. And in this order only, the article will be described in each and every paper, that is author, title, source, abstract, keywords, and subject headings. So the Google Scholar is a freely accessible web search engine, and this indexes the full text of scholarly literature across an array of publishing formats and disciplines. So it indexes full text journal articles, technical reports, preprints, theses, books, and other documents, including selected web pages. So hand searching is also, we were doing once upon a time. It's a manual process of screening the documents. So predefined and pre-selected peer-reviewed biomedical journals. And you can also get data from conference proceedings and other publications for relevant materials that have been missed during the indexing process. Then gray literature is one that is not formally published in sources like books or journals, either national or international journals. Normally, this gray literature will be available in the conference proceedings, technical specifications and standards, thesis, bibliographies, and technical and commercial documentation. So these gray literature can be picked out from the libraries. So what are the sources of the literature review? So review of the literature is normally from two sources. So primary sources and the secondary sources. So primary sources are the ones where it is written by the person who developed the theory or conducted the original research, or the description of an investigation written by the person who conducted it. Whereas secondary resources are secondary source documents or description of studies prepared by someone other than the original researcher. Okay, so the main sources from where literature can be searched are, so these are the ones: magazines, newspapers, electronic database, okay, books, journals, conference papers, thesis, encyclopedia, dictionary, research reports, and these are the various resources of the literature review. Okay, so the next very important thing I'm going to tell you is that how are you going to narrow down your literature search? Supposing if you have chosen one research title and you have chosen the keywords also from this title, and how are you going to use these titles in the PubMed? So PubMed is the search engine normally meant for the to take the medical journals, okay, medical articles from the medical side. So what you do is, I'll give you some example how to do use the PubMed Advanced and how to narrow down your articles. So the contents of this portion is the aim, systematic approach to searching, how to use the PubMed and what not to do. So aim is, it should be time saving. Okay, you have to restrict the absolute number of titles, but you have to at the same time increase the number of relevant titles. Okay, so at the end you have to reduce the numbers needed to read. Okay, so you have to narrow down all your searches concisely so that you get only the relevant articles, so on which you can proceed with your research. So it's a PubMed is a free database accessing the Medline database of citations, abstracts, and some full text articles on life sciences and biomedical topics. So this is the website to use the PubMed. So this is the largest available resource since 1996. More than 26 million citations are there for biomedical literature, and no one database can search all medical literature. So at a minimum, we have to see PubMed or Medline, Embase, Cochrane, Central Trial Registry. So all these things, Google Scholar. Okay, so all these things to be done. So what is a systematic approach to searching? So what to do and what not to do? So systematic approach to searching, you have to know about the search strategy in the PubMed. So what is a search strategy? So you have to use the knowledge, logic, and creativity, and you start with a good research question. Okay, so of course, we all of us, when we start a research, first point is we have to select a good, novel research question which has not been answered before. So you have to divide population, determinant of exposure, and the outcome. And next step is you have to know about the synonyms of all these. Okay, so this is the three components of the research question: population, determinant, and outcome. So the search one should be the population, and you have to pick up all its synonyms. Search 2 is determinant, pick out all the synonyms, and search 3 outcome, and again you pick out the respective synonyms. Okay, so search for is you have to combine this 1, 2, and 3 searches. Okay, and you have to put some Boolean operators. Okay, so Boolean operators are the ones which normally connect these keywords. Like there are 3 Boolean operators are there. So depending on the need, you can use any one of them. So you can put either and, or, not. Okay, so these are 3 Boolean operators which can be used whenever you use the PubMed Advanced. So this is the method or procedure by which normally we use the PubMed Advanced, where you put a tabular column for 3 components of the research question, that is the population, determinant, outcome. Okay, so you put the term here. Okay, so under population, you put the term. So I will give you example, only then we can understand. Under determinant also, you put another keyword. Under outcome, another keyword. So this column is meant for the synonyms of this particular keyword. And for determinant column, these are the 3 synonyms for this particular keyword. And for outcome, 3 synonyms for this particular keyword. So Boolean operators, as I told you earlier, the 3 Boolean operators and, or, not. Okay. So they are used to connect and define the relationship between your search terms. And when searching the electronic databases, you can use these Boolean operators to either narrow or broaden your record sets. So depending on your need, you can use any one of the Boolean operators. So this is the typical example where you can see how these 3 Boolean operators vary in terms of searches. For example, if you're going to use and, okay. So the 2 keywords what you have chosen here is the hip and fracture. Okay. So if you put and between hip and fracture, so if you type as hip and fracture, so here in this case the Boolean operator is and. Okay. So if you use and as the Boolean operator, you can get only the overlapping documents. Okay. So the documents which are related to hip as well as fracture you will get. You will not get articles related only to hip, okay, or articles related only to fracture. So this will eliminate, okay, so all this. So you will get only this gray portion, that is only hip and fracture. This alone you will get. Supposing if you are going to use or as the Boolean operator, then if you put renal and kidney, 2 keywords you are using it, and if you put or, then that means this or that. Okay, that means you get all components, all related information regarding only renal. So this is only renal, this is only kidney, and this in between is renal and kidney. Okay, so both renal and kidney are present here. Okay, so you will get all possible information related to the renal and kidney. So these are 2 synonyms only. So next is the not. Okay, so not if you use as the Boolean operator. For example, if you are using keywords as the renal and failure, so this if you put not, then you will get information only pertaining to renal. Okay, so it is the renal but not related to failure. Okay, so we don't want articles related to the failure. We want only articles related to the renal. Okay, so all documents related to the failure. Okay, is it any failure, whether it can be any failure or it is a failure due to renal kidney failure. So these 2, it will remove automatically. So you will get only the renal. Okay, so renal but not failure. So this is the idea of using these Boolean operators, that is and, or not. So depending on your need, you can select any one of them. So how to search in the PubMed? Okay, so first use the title, abstract, and the search builder under advanced search tab in PubMed. So first you go to this website and then you go to PubMed Advanced. Okay, so you click on this PubMed Advanced. So when you click on this, then you will get this page. Okay, so you will get this page. So now what you're going to do is, I will tell you. So I will give you an example. Does renal impairment increase the mortality risk in type 2 diabetes mellitus? So this is the research question. So you have to divide this into three components as population, determinant and outcome. So population is type 2 diabetes mellitus. Determinant is the renal impairment and outcome is the mortality. Okay, so these are the three components of your research question. So next what you do is you draw the tabular column. Okay, your first column is the population. So population is the type 2 diabetes mellitus. So you type population is type 2 diabetes and you write down all synonyms, type 2 diabetics, non-insulin dependent diabetes. So then once you prepare the synonyms for the first column, that is for the population, you go to PubMed advanced page. And now here you type these keywords. Okay, so type 2 diabetes. So other synonyms are the type 2 diabetics, non-insulin dependent diabetes. And here you can search in the builder, no, you can choose any one of them, or and or not, anything you can choose. So because you are using synonyms, it is better to use or. Okay. So now you have typed all these, synonyms for the first column, this for the population. So now you click on this search. Okay. So next step is you have to click on this search button. So when you search, click on search button, you can see here, this is added. Okay, so whatever you have typed here, all these three components, if you click on this search, then you will get, you see here, so all these keywords will come here and all articles related to these keywords is shown here. So the items found are, it is 56,747 articles are there. Okay, so many articles are there. So next step is the next column you write, it is the determinant or exposure. Okay, so determinant is the renal. You jot down all the synonyms like kidney, albuminuria, glomerular. Okay, so whatever synonyms you know, this or this or this or this. So all these synonyms again you type here. Okay, you click R here. You type all the synonyms for this. And then you click on this search. So when you click on the search, so second item is added on top. So this is the previous one. This is the second one, just now we have added. So all these synonyms will come here, keywords and articles related to these keywords, or you see here, it is around, I think 5,85,424 items are found. Okay. So the next one is the last column, outcome column, where you type the mortality, okay, death. So that is the outcome, what you have framed based on the research question, what we have chosen. So now you type all the synonyms in this column again, and then you click on this search. So when you click on this search, see it is added recently, it is here on top. So only 17,376 articles are there. Okay. So for the research question, what we framed in the beginning, it has these many items or articles, but we're not going to, review all these articles. It is very time consuming, not necessary also. So what we do here is now, next step is a very important, crucial step where, so this is our tabular column, isn't it? With these keywords only, we have searched these many items. So the next last important step is that you have to put item number 1. Okay. So the search number 1 is here. That is 56,747. Search number 1. So next is the number 2. So number 2 has 5,85,000. These many articles are there. Okay. Then number 3 is 7,17,376 articles. Okay. So you just type the item now, search number 1 and, okay, the Boolean operator, what you're going to use here is and. Okay. So you're going to now connect all these 3 searches, 1 and 2 and 3. Okay. So you jot down all these numbers. Okay. It can be 3 or it can be 4 or it can be 5. Okay. It need not be 3 items only. So whatever it is, the final step is, so once you arrive at the individual searches, okay, for all these items. So now you click on search 1, 2 and 3, but here definitely you put and. Okay. And then you click on search. Okay. So this is the last step what we have done. So you just look at here in PubMed Advanced, you see how many articles we have got? Only 851 articles. Okay. So nicely we have narrowed down the number of references. Okay. So pertaining to our research question. Okay. So out of these lakhs together references, we got only 851 relevant articles we have arrived using the PubMed Advanced. Okay. So this is the main take home message for you. How to concise, how to narrow down your search so that all these articles you can just go through and you can pick out the relevant articles, and these articles can be used in any portions of your research proposal. Okay. So when to stop searching? Okay. So we know that how to search for the relevant articles, but when to stop. Okay. When to stop? See, whenever it is like a snowball. Okay. Supposing if you are getting the same references, articles again and again, if you happen to read the articles again and again, then that is the time when you need to stop your search. Okay. So thank you all. So the message what I want to tell you is, a student is not a container you have to fill, but a torch you have to light up. And I know many of you have joined from the colleges, faculty from medical colleges, other colleges also. So this month actually ICMR STS has been open, and many of our students are in the process of writing the proposal. It is meant for both medical and dental students. It is applicable. So 31st May is the last date. So you please motivate the students so that they can take up a project, simple project. And whenever you choose the topic, you see to it, it's a model. Okay. It's a novel topic. Okay. Should be a novel topic. There should be some novelty. And the finding, the hypothesis, it's going to help the society. Okay. So that way you have to guide the students. Thank you all. And any doubts, queries, I can answer.
Thank you, ma'am, for an excellent presentation. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. So any queries you can put in the chat box also later. I can answer your questions.
Now we move on to our next trainer. We are honored to welcome today's speaker for our webinar. Dr. Aravind Valvane is a skilled microbiologist and a research scientist with over a decade of hands-on experience in molecular diagnosis, clinical microbiology, and infectious disease research. He has held key positions including research associate for the Indo-US TB project at JIPMER, research scientist at the Virus Research and Diagnosis Laboratory funded by ICMR, DHR, and assist professor and technical manager at Arunai Medical College. His contributions include the design and operational setup of VDRL at IGMC and RI Puducherry. With strong proficiency in PCR, real-time PCR, LAMP, cloning, electrophoresis, ELISA, and microbial culture techniques, he has contributed to several multi-centric national studies and has multiple publications in high-impact journals like Emerging Infectious Disease and Indian Journal of Medical Research. Dr. Valvane is known for his commitment collaborate, spirit, and technical expertise in both clinical and research environments. Sir, you can take over session, please. Sir, please, you can take over the session, sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you can take it.
Yeah, let me just. Okay, is my screen visible? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Very good morning, and I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to speak among distinguished researchers and professors, faculties. And I thank my previous speakers, Dr. Revati ma'am and Dr. Lata ma'am, for giving a brief introduction about the research and how to go for review. So my topic today is writing manuscript for publication, basically. So research is nothing if you don't publish it, right? So that is the basic thing which we are working for. So we just want something to get published out of our research. So the question which I would like to post is one good page enough for publication? Is one good page enough for us to convey our idea, okay, through a publication to people who are interested in our work? So, for a good experimentalist, precision is the hallmark, and yet many scientific manuscripts are imprecise and vague. The only window a reviewer has into the laboratory of an investigator is through the manuscript he or she writes. Many authors don't seem to realize that the sloppy written manuscript causes reviewers to believe that the research was also done in a sloppy manner. So, manuscript is the only window through which the reviewer is going to look at your work. Okay. And the cardinal sin in scientific communication is vagueness and not bad grammar. Okay. So grammar is secondary, but vagueness should not be there in your paper publication. So is one good page enough? So let me try to answer this particular question in the last few slides. Okay. So you should believe in the process. So there should be a process which is going on, which includes topic selection, the audience identification, research and the outlining, drafting and revision, and formatting and submission. This is a continuous process which involves with every research. Okay. You have selected a good topic. After you get your results, you are going to publish it in a way so that that audience which you want to get interest on that particular topic. So there should be a proper research and outlining of your proposal. There should be a proper drafting and revision of your proposal, and as well as formatting and submission of your proposal. So you should believe in the process and trust in the process. Okay. So what is a good paper? a good paper is considered to be clear, coherent, focused, well argued, unambiguous language with an unambiguous language. Okay, it should be easy to read and edit. Okay, so everyone should be feeling comfortable to read your publication. Okay, please do not use any unambiguous language so that they may get confused. What exactly are you going to tell? Okay, the structure should be proper. There should be audience engagement. Okay, there should be originality and value, and we have to make sure that it is ethically proper. And there is no guarantee for acceptance even if the scientific content is good. So it does not mean that your scientific content is good, you will be getting published. Okay, so try to avoid ambiguity and vagueness. That is one important thing in a good paper. So you know that papers are indexed in various indexing agencies. Some of the examples are PubMed, Scopus, and Web of Science. For medically important journals, related journals, PubMed, Scopus, Web of Science are basically indexing agencies. Okay, these are indexing agencies which list the journals for easy discoverability and accessibility. So if your research is, if you think you want to communicate your research to audience who want to take something from your research, you can publish it in an indexed journal. Okay, any of these indexed journal is considered as having high quality. So you should get the things right at the first time. So you should determine the specific focus of your article, whatever topic you are going to speak about to the audience. So you should determine the focus. Okay, select the right journal. So who is going to read the journal? You must be knowing that. So you should select the right journal based on the focus of your article. Determine the right type of article which you want to communicate. So there are various types of article. So you should determine the right type of article. Follow the guidelines of the selected journal. So each article or each journal will give a specific set of guidelines for their publication. So you should follow those guidelines precisely. And you should keep revising and revising. So every revision will give you a new lesson. Fine. So that is what we recommend. So you should keep revising your manuscript until you get a final result. So you should select the right journals. You should understand the scope and relevance of the journal and the readability of the journal. So assess the journal reputation by its impact factor, the pre-review, peer review process, and the editorial quality. So you can assess the reputation by these three factors. Okay. You should review the author guidelines. So author guidelines is stated in that particular journal's guidelines. You should review those author guidelines, search databases and master journal list. Read references from those journals. Already, if you are targeting one journal to get published, read the references in those journals, how they are published. Consult colleagues, seniors, and experts for that particular journal. So to know the right journal, you have to do all this. What are the types of articles which you can publish? You can do a original research. You can write a review article, a short report or letter to the editor, case studies, and methodologies. All these are types of various articles which can be published. Okay, any of this can be done by you. So you can, if you have an interesting case report, you can do it as a case study. If you have an original research, you can go for an original research articles. So each will have a specific guideline based on the journal you are going to publish. So the touchstone is well planned. Okay, you should be having a well planned structure for your journal. Okay, the study design should be good and the methodology should be good. These two are very important features in a journal. The study design and methodology are the key features of your research. Fine. If your study design and methodology is strengthened to the core, then your publication acceptance will be fine. So read the previous paper published in the format. Always go with the previous paper published in the format which you are intending to publish. Prepare a skeleton of the journal and revise it. Okay. You can use a format which is followed worldwide, which is known as IMRAD format, which shows introduction, methods, results, and discussion. So this is the format which is followed worldwide. So base your skeleton on this format: introduction, methods, results, and discussion. So introduction and discussion can wait until you finish the important manuscript, and abstract you can write it at the last. Okay, you have completed all the parts of the manuscript. So use crisp sentences to convey your message. Okay, simple and concise sentences are highly welcome. Remove unnecessary words. Don't use unnecessary words in your sentences. It should be very crisp. And active voice is preferred over passive voice. This will also reduce the word count of your sentence. Okay. So for example, the student has completed the thesis. The thesis was completed by the student. A similar simple sentence has a different word count. So this can be used for reducing the word count also. So begin the sentence with an operative word and end with a clear message. So your message should be very clear. What are you trying to convey? That should be very clear. And these are structured abstract. So abstract can be written in the last. So a structured abstract will have background, methods, results, and conclusion. Okay. So backgrounds, methods, results, and conclusions will form a structured abstract. So it is written in past perfect tense and active voice, and no citations should be mentioned in the structured abstracts. And you can include keywords from the MESH vocabulary. That is medical subject headings vocabulary will give you a keywords of your abstract. So you can use those MESH vocabulary to structure your keywords. Introduction. Introduction part is very important. That is the part where basically that will sell the study to the editors, reviewers, and readers. So introduction should be very strong. Do not include data or conclusions in the introduction. So no data or conclusions is required in the introduction, and tell why the study is important for the readers. Why are you trying to convey the message? That should be reflected in the introduction. Methods. If you come to the methods, insights of the design of the study is seen in the methods. I said that strong study design and methodology is very important. So 4 basic elements of the original study are there. Study design, setting and subjects with ethical consideration, data collection, and statistical methods. So statistically, wherever you can apply statistical methods in your study design, you have to apply that in the study design and arrive your results. Type of study can be prospective, retrospective, experimental, and observational. Sample size and calculation should be clearly mentioned. Inclusion and exclusion criteria along with methods of randomization, blinding, all those should be clearly mentioned. Measurement tools which you have used and outcome measures. How are you going to measure those outcomes? What are the techniques you have followed to measure those outcomes? All those should be clearly mentioned. Whenever describing a new surgery on an experiment, provide sufficient details. When you have followed a standard procedure described elsewhere, you can provide the relevant references. So, new experiment, you give the details. Already established procedure, just provide the references. Results column, you should be very objective and use past tense. Do not interpret here. Okay, you just display the results. No need of any interpretation of the results. Remove all the superfluous details that does not form the part of the question or the outcome measure. Start with the recruitment process and the description of demographic characteristic of the population. Whatever population you have studied, you can go with the recruitment process and the demographic characteristics. Okay, present with values wherever statistical significance is there, you can go with the p-values, 95% confidence intervals, odds ratio, relative risk, whatever statistically significant results you are obtaining, you should mention there. You should not interpret it, just mention the results or display the results. Okay, describe the primary and secondary outcomes and unexpected findings. Any unexpected findings are there, you can describe the unexpected findings in the results. So tables and charts, graphs and figures, all these are materials which are used in results for a visual impact. So you can serially number them, mention in text at appropriate places. Okay. Prepare clinical photographs and diagrams on separate pages in desired format. So whatever format required by the guidelines, you prepare it in a separate format and keep it as a separate file. Provide separate files for legends, figures, charts, and clinical photographs. All these can be prepared in a separate file. Place the legends after references. So in discussion, this is where you are going to interpret what you have given in the results. Okay. Begin with a brief recapitulation of main findings without repeating the results. Do not repeat the results in the discussion part. You are just trying to interpret what you have already displayed in the result. Refrain from bringing in new findings. No new findings should be brought in discussion. Compare your results with the findings of similar studies by other authors and explain the reasons of variation. Emphasize the new findings. Interpret the unexpected. Underline the implications of your findings. Describe the strength and weaknesses of your study. So all the limitations of your studies can be discussed in this part. Finally, provide a good conclusion and a take-home message. All this includes a proper discussion. References. So references have specific styles based on the different journal guidelines. So cite most accessible reference and eliminate archaic and irrelevant references. So very old reference or any irrelevant references you can remove from the references list. Check for accuracy and stick to the limit of references which they are given in the guidelines. Most biomedical journal today will follow Vancouver style or APA style, American Psychological Association style. These two are important styles which most biomedical journals wants to give your references. Follow individual journal guidelines for annotations, whether it is a sentence case reference or a superscript reference. So individual guidelines may vary and you should follow the individual guidelines for the annotations. And before submission, revise thoroughly. As I said, revision is the key part in your structuring of a manuscript. Read critically, adhere to the instructions properly, check for language and grammar, and prepare separate files for cover letter, abstract, blinded article without the detail of authors. You should prepare separate files for figures, charts, tables, images, legends, and any permission from the copyright holder. It is unethical to submit the same work to multiple journals at a time. So try to focus on one article, one journal, and try to publish your work in one journal at a time. Do not submit the same work to multiple journals at a time. So cover letter will include title, main findings, and relevance with the author details and the authorship. What is the authorship? First author, co-authors, and the corresponding authors, and the mailing address and the institutional affiliation. So any other editor decide information can be given in the cover letter, such as contribution of each author, conception, design of the study, data collection, statistical analysis, manuscript preparation and revision, conflict of interest. All this can be decided by the editor of that particular journal. So you can mention them in cover letter. So what are the reasons of rejections at the editorial level? So initial rejection will happen at the editorial level. So there may be a set of persons who are working at the editorial level who can outrightly reject your article based on flaw and deficiency in the study design, inappropriate experimental design, plagiarism, failure to adhere to instruction to authors. All these are reasons for summary or outright rejection. So it may be unsuitable for the journal. The content, the language, grammar, and format may be unsuitable for the journal. So they may reject your paper. ICMJE, International Committee of Medical Journal Editors, they have given guidelines for the editors to, based on these criteria, to filter those good journals. So you should be very careful that your study design is flawless. You have a proper experimental design and you don't do plagiarism, and you have to adhere to the instruction to the authors. This will be the first stage for your acceptance. Then you will go for the peer review. Peer review is an essential tool the journals apply to maintain high quality and standard of the articles. So after the editorial checkup, it will go to the peer review process. Okay. So then they will suggest for a potential reviewer for you. So you can select a potential reviewer who you want to review your paper. Okay. Or you can also select a reviewer who you don't want to look at your paper. Okay. So those things are possible. Provide point-wise responses to reviewers' comments. So they may give you some comments and you have to provide point-wise responses to those comments. Highlight the changes in the revised manuscript, and you should remember that revision does not guarantee for acceptance, but failure to respond and resubmit closes the door. So you should always respond to the comments given by the reviewers. This is one important thing in peer review. So what happens? Peer review, they want to reject it. There are top 10 reasons for further rejection, which happens in peer review. So what are the top 10 reasons for further rejection? Inappropriate or incomplete statistics, over-interpretation of results, inappropriate or suboptimal instrumentation, sample too small or biased, difficult to follow, insufficient problem statement, inaccurate or inconsistent data reported, incomplete, inaccurate or outdated review of literature, insufficient data presented, or defective tables or figures. All these are substandard information. So anything which is substandard, peer review process will reject it. So this is the prerequisite. So originality of the content, validity of the study design, language, style, format, all these should be clear. Online abstracts and full text references can be reviewed. Language services can be used. Referencing software can be used to prepare references. Read the instructions carefully and adhere to them strictly. Okay. So this is the flowchart for the peer review. So initial rejection can happen in the editorial level itself. So editorial level itself, the paper can be rejected. Then if it goes to the peer review, there are many stages where the peer review process goes to a specific expert review in that particular field. And finally, if you are lucky, your paper will get published in the paper which you are intending it. Okay. So there may be various decisions of the reviewers. They can either accept at the initial stage only to accept the manuscript for publishing in its original form. The initial original form can be accepted outright, or they can give you a minor revision. The manuscript requires a minor corrections which are indicated in the review. So you can answer those minor revision. There may be substantial corrections or major revision. Substantial review of the manuscript content is needed. An improvement is indicated in the review. Or they can reject it, outrightly reject the manuscript based on the review by the editor or the peer review process. These are the decisions which can happen to anybody by the reviewers. So you should be aware of the potentially predatory journals. This is one important thing we should be aware. So you should know these are certain examples, okay, where you can have clues where you can see whether the journals are potentially predatory. The scope of interest includes non-biomedical subjects alongside biomedical subjects. So mixture of scope. Website content, spelling and grammars. So if you see the website, it is not properly structured, okay, designed. There may be spelling and grammar errors. Images are distorted and fuzzy. Manuscript handling process is lacking. Requested to submit via email. Rapid publication is promised. There is no retraction policy. The article publication charge is very low. Some may be giving you free articles also, but you can always see the reputation by checking the impact factor of the journal. Journals claiming to be open access either retain copyright or published research fail to mention copyright. So they may not mention the copyright. Contact email address may be non-professional. These are clues where you can know whether your journal is predatory or not. Okay. So the first question which I asked was, is one good page enough? So that was the first question. So whatever I have discussed so far is the structure of those articles. In your original research, what part of the articles, how are you going to structure it? So the first question I asked was, is one good page enough? For this question, I will just tell you one small story with 3 important lessons. Okay, so in 1947 at King's College London, Maurice Wilkins was a scientist who started working on the structure of DNA. Okay, in 1951, scientist named Rosalind Franklin joined Maurice Wilkins. In 1952, Rosalind Franklin saves X-ray crystallographic photo of the salt of DNA, which she saves in her research room. Okay, one of the photograph among them is photograph number 51. Maurice Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin had some clash between each other, and Rosalind Franklin moves out in 1953. Francis Crick from Cambridge University is a friend of Maurice Wilkins. He comes to Wilkins and they both discuss. James Watson, who is friend of Francis Crick, comes to meet Maurice Wilkins, and at this time, Maurice Wilkins shows the photographs which was saved by Rosalind Franklin to James Watson. Okay, in January 1953, this happened. James Watson visits Maurice Wilkins. Then the photograph was shown. Then James Watson sketches the pattern, brings it back to Francis Crick. Within 4 weeks, Francis Crick and James Watson completed the model of structure of DNA and published it in April. Okay, April of the same year, 1953. So lesson 1, which we learned from here, is collaborating with faculty colleagues is more profitable than competing against them. Okay, so if only Maurice Wilkins and Rosalind Franklin has collaborated properly, they would have arrived at the structure first. Okay, James Watson and Francis Crick had a better collaboration. So collaborating with faculty colleagues will give you a good paper. The story 2 is happening in the same college, King's College London, July 1951, Alex Stolz and Bruce Fraser. Okay, they had convincing mathematical evidence that had the structure of the DNA. In November 1951, Fraser built a model that turned out to have the key elements correct. Okay, but there are certain limitations with the structure. This research was completed before the Watson and Crick began their working. Okay, but they did not publish their findings. So Stokes and Fraser did not publish their findings. The initial findings, even with limitations, you should publish it, try to publish it. So the lesson 2 is research has no value if unpublished. So even if you have a small work done, a very limited work done, you should try to publish your work. That is the lesson 2 which I want to tell you. So you know the history. In April 1953, we had one landmark paper by Watson and Crick. Okay, with their paper is very simple, very brief and clear, and they did it in one page. So this is the single page publication of the 20th century, which was a landmark paper of the 20th century. So the question is one good page enough to publish? The answer is yes. One good page of publication is enough even to win the Nobel Prize. So all these are Nobel laureates who I have discussed: Francis Crick, James Watson, Maurice Wilkins, and Rosalind Franklin. So try to remember, even if it is a insignificant minor work, we will try to publish it. Thank you very much. Rather, science you.
Thank you, sir, for your excellent presentation. Thank you so much.
Okay. If there are any questions, I can, or in the comments also, we can chat. Thank you.
అంటారా? హలో. Dear participants, thank you for your support and active participation. Now we have shared the feedback for e-certificate in chat box.